Hey, lovelies. This is Pastor Linda, and I am going to do my commentary for our first leg of the trip, which was me coming to Israel, as you know, on November the 1st, 10:38 a.m. I left San Francisco International Airport and I got on a flight to Chicago. And then from Chicago, I got on a flight to Istanbul. And from Istanbul, I got on a flight to Israel. I am now in Israel and I am doing a reflections. I think it'll be easier than typing, so it's not going to be long. But I'm going to do this reflection of this trip and of this journey. So you guys know I've already told you guys about the miracle of me even being able to go. So picking it up from there, got to San Francisco without a hitch, got on my plane. Um, Once I got on the airplane, I was up in the air, got to Chicago, and when I landed, everything there was some hiccups, some frustrations, but it wasn't anything overwhelming. It's just regular travel stuff. Um, and so when I got there, I was walking to go get my bags so I can go to the international terminal to go for my flight to Istanbul. And I'm not a clumsy person, right? I'm not a clumsy person. I know how to walk on my own 2 feet. But for some reason, the bottom of my shoes caught the floor, skipped a few steps. And, first time it was just kind of like let me be a little bit more careful. And then not even 2 minutes later, I did it again, but this time I fell. So I'm embarrassed. Didn't really feel any pain at that moment. Got up, the gentleman helped me get up. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, just a little bit embarrassed." Picked up my bags. He helped me pick up the bags that I had, and then went and got my suitcase and got on the phone with the organizers of the group and said, "Okay, where do I need to go? I'm here in Chicago." But as I was walking, I started to feel my foot, my toes, um, they were a little sore. And I was like, oh God, something happened to my toe and it's going to be, and I'm thinking that it was going to be like a hindrance. And so after I got off the phone talking to whoever I was talking to, I just said a simple prayer. Satan, I bind you in the name of Jesus. By your stripes, Jesus, I am healed. So whatever is going on down there, I need you to take it away, remove it, whatever, heal it, because I am here to get divine revelation. I'm here to get closer to you. I know you're going to do something in my life here, and I don't want this to be the hindrance that I don't receive what I have for you from you. And so, long story short, foot still hurts. Stepped off the plane the wrong way. It got a little bit more irritated. A man stepped on my toe a couple of times, got a little bit more irritated. And I realized it's a trick of the enemy because whenever you want something from God, right, he's always going to make it seem like you can't have what you want. And I could have settled in my own mind and been like, you know what? I didn't come all this way. Now my foot hurting and I got to do all this walking and all of this and I'm gonna be on my feet. Da, 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 da. I'm not going to enjoy it because my foot's going to be hurting. I could have went there, but I was determined. I am determined to not allow this to hinder me. And so what I've realized and what God revealed to me, and I was talking with my roommate about it a little bit earlier, is that the more I walk on it, the less I feel the pain. And since we got to do a lot of walking, it's almost like God is saying, I'm going to make it bearable. So whatever is going on, He may not remove the issue, but He's going to make it so that I can bear it. That's saying something to somebody right there. So there's that. Then and I'm about to end. Then there was, once we got to Chicago, there was a lot of murmuring and complaining. And it wasn't bad murmuring. It wasn't bad complaining. It was just, well, I left this at home and I need to get it and I'm going to go over here. But they told us that we had to stay together as a group. Um, and it can get frustrated when you have grown people, right? that can make their own decisions and move the way they want to move, and they don't see why I can't go to the store and buy this. I know where I need to be. I know where I need to go. Da 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 da. And what God was showing me is that the plan of salvation that He has for us, He has certain stipulations. He has certain requirements for us to live and for us to move and breathe, and to be able to receive the rewards that we're supposed to receive, to be able to do a good job, to be able to get the blessing of being obedient. And even though we can do other things, even though we have the ability to be great in other areas, He's saying, I need you to do it this way. And it was same with the children of Israel. He told them, look, I'm going to send you a deliverer. And when he sent the deliverer said, okay, this is what you need to do. And I'm sure because we read it in the word of God that there was murmuring and complaining. And it got to the point where Moses himself, it would get on his nerves, and he would do things and say things out of anger and out of frustration. Remember, the thing that comes to mind is when God told him to speak to the rock, and he hit the rock in anger because the people were murmuring and complaining. And what God is showing me, first natural, then spiritual, right? So we're on this journey and we're trying to get closer to God. We're trying to receive something from God. We're trying to understand God more, right? And a lot of these people have come for the very first time. I've come for the very first time. But what God is showing me and what God has already begun to teach me is that, Linda, you can't take your eyes off of what it is I told you. You got to do it as I instructed you in order to receive what it is. And yes, there's going to be times when you're not going to understand why you can't do this or why. I mean, I'm just going to go to the store. That's not going to break up the group. You guys are sitting there waiting over here. I can be in the store shopping. I could do this. There was a lot of that going on. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but what I'm saying is God was showing me, if you follow the rules, if you're obedient to the instructions, then you get a better reward. Now, we can get a reward and do it our own way, but it won't be the reward that God has for us. And many times we sell ourselves short because we don't want to do it God's way. We want to do it the way it feels comfortable for us. And, and it's kind of like people would say, "Well, I don't need the pastor to hear from God. I can hear from God all by myself. God speaks to me just like He speaks to the pastor." Well, He may, but He chose to speak to the pastor on your behalf to give you instructions because He wants to see if you will follow those instructions. He sent Moses to the children of Israel to lead them out of bondage into freedom because He wanted to see, can you trust me? Even when you see a flawed man, even when you see a flawed plan, even when you see that there's another way of doing things, can you trust my way? Can you do it my way so you can get the better reward? They were 11 days away from the promised land, but they had to go into the wilderness for 40 years because of their murmuring and complaining. I don't want to have to wait for God's promises. I don't want to have to wait for the thing that God said was already mine. Because remember, when they finally got to the place where they were about to go in, and God told Moses to tell them to go possess the land, they were like, no, we can't do that. We're grasshoppers in their sight. And they got afraid and they didn't do it. When Joshua came back around, notice Joshua didn't send all the men that Moses sent. He only sent 2 men in there. And they came back and said, yeah, land is good. We can go. And they possessed the land. But when they went in to possess the land, it wasn't easy. They had to drive out who was already there. And sometimes in your promised land, in the land that God tells you to possess, in the land that God tells you to go in and be fruitful and multiply, there's something already there. There's someone already operating. There's someone already doing. But you've got to know what God has told you to do, and you have to follow His instructions, or else you'll wander for 40 years instead of just going to the promised land in 11 days. So I'm here in Jerusalem. I'm ready for whatever God has for me. There's going to be a lot of revelation. I already know, and a lot of it I'm probably not going to be able to share with y'all because it's going to be to me personally, and it's going to be between me and God. But what I can share, I will share, and I'll probably do it through video as opposed to typing. Because if you're anything like me, you'd rather watch a video than see somebody read some typing, right? So that's it. Today is November the 2nd. We are going to bed. Well, actually, it's November the 3rd because it's already after midnight here. But we're going to bed so we can get up, and tomorrow it starts a day of uh, tourism, sightseeing, however you want to say it. But I'm looking for more because I believe every place that I go on this trip, God is going to speak to me and show me something. And hopefully, most of it I can share with you, but I know there's going to be some things personal because I've come with some personal questions for the Lord, and I believe He's going to answer them. So, you guys be blessed, be encouraged. I'm Pastor Linda, and as I always say, I'm out.